Welcome to another episode of Humans of Mittikaran podcast. I'm your host Lohit Bolineni, and today we have with us Vijaya Gorpade. She is HR by profession, and she's also associated with a few social ventures, and also she's the founder of Sri
Gurudev Pratishthan.
Gurudev Pratistha. Yeah, I have a little difficulty pronouncing that. Sorry about that. She has worked as HR for around 2 or 3 years. Today, on this episode, we'll be talking about her career and her experience in various ventures. So, hi Rutuja. First of all, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great and I'm happy to be here and especially sharing the screen with you. So I'm excited for the session.
Thank you so much. So before I have a lot of interesting questions. First of all, given that you're HR, I have a lot of questions. So before we start those questions, I would like to ask about the situation we have right now. Uh, so how has your life or your daily life been during this pandemic? I mean, of course, across India, it's no more a lockdown, but uh, we can't deny the fact that this is a new normal and a lot of things have changed since this COVID-19 has started. So, how are you coping up with it and how are you dealing with this?
So somewhere I feel, we all have rather, accepted this new normal journey. And we are now staying at home because life is more important than any other thing right now.
Yeah,
Survival is more important. So for me, yes, there are certain changes. Like when I have come back to my hometown and I'm spending time with my family. I'm pursuing my courses like the hobbies that I had. So I'm practicing more on that front and spending time with family, working, taking freelance opportunities, and overall the things have changed. I'm no more able to hang out with my friends, and that's the saddest thing. But
yeah.
then I think somewhere staying home, staying safe is the best option right now because cases are increasing day by day, and it's you who can take care of yourself the most. So I think I'm just enjoying the time also being at home. It's going good so far. Good.
That's really great. Now that you have talked about family and spending time and hometown, I wanted to ask where do you come from and where was your childhood and for your school and college, where did you go?
Okay, so see, I am from Akluj. It's a town in Sholapur district. So I am born and brought up in Akluj, and I've done my schooling, my college, my graduation also here at my hometown. And post that, then 3 to 4 years before I shifted to Pune. So it's Akluj is a city in Solapur district. It is a town which there are many good things over here. So people who want to spend a good time and want to enjoy village life also, town life also, they can just come to Akluj and visit us also. So yeah.
Okay. And where did you go for college and what was your graduation in?
Yeah, so I did my schooling from Shankara Moite Patil English School, and I did my graduation in Bachelor of Administration. So it was here in Cluj only, and that time the core was a generalized profile. Like I did BBA in generalized profile. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's really great. And you have shifted to Pune, right, for your work. So, how has that shift been like coming from a town? Because I have lived in Andhra in a town, and after coming to Chennai, there were a lot of changes that I had to see. So, for you, what was that shift like from a town and to Pune city?
Yeah, so I came to Pune for my post graduation. I completed BBA and I wanted to do masters, and I had HR in my mind, and that is when I thought of Pune being a very developed city, and I always wanted to shift to Pune. So initially, like to be very frank, here in the hometown, I used to stay with my family. So I'm a pampered child, like you know I'm everybody's favorite. So I used to get everything so easily. When I shifted to Pune, I think life has changed upside down. I understood that things are not going to be so easy. If I want something, I'll have to work hard for it, even if it's getting some food for yourself. You know, so life has completely changed. Pune has made me more independent, I would say, and Pune has brought in a lot of good opportunities for me where I could, work independently, try and understand myself more better, and socialize and network with people. So yeah, these are the changes that I have seen from my hometown to Pune.
Okay, so you got to meet a lot of people in Pune.
Yes.
That's great. And talking about HR, I personally have a lot of interviews for HR because uh, I don't know, I come from a technical and creative background. So I always used to think what runs on people who are in management field. And so I have a lot of questions. So I hope today I can clear at least a few of them.
Sure.
First of all, what made you interested in HR? Like, at what point you came to know that in HR is your field that you wanted to work in?
See, I had two things in my mind very clear that I want to do social welfare or social work, you can say. That is something I had been doing since my childhood and I always wanted to do. Uh, when I did my graduation, I realized that HR is a profile or HR is a profession where you can explore yourself. There is people management. There is so much of involvement of people in this profession, and it's not just the corporate world that you work for into HR, but you can also utilize this knowledge and skills of HR in the social work field as well. Like in corporate world or in HR, you have training, you have recruitment, or you give people employment opportunities. Similarly, in this field as well, you can do it. So my thought process was this way, that I want to upgrade my skills. I want to learn the theoretical aspects also. I want to have practical knowledge into HR field, and then I want to utilize it for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of the people that we live with in the society.
Wow, that's I wasn't expecting that. That's a really great motive back there. Uh, okay, so since you are HR, obviously I can see that you're great at communication. So, are there any tips like suggestions that you can give for people who want to communicate better or socialize better? Are there any tips that you want to suggest?
See, to be very frank, initially I was a very introvert person. I used to not talk to anybody. And since the time, I started communicating more, talking to people more, I got to know a lot of things. So when you communicate with people, there is sharing of ideas, sharing of knowledge. You share few things, they share few things they know. That way you kind of build a bond also. So I would suggest that don't stay introvert. I understand that people sometimes like spending time with themselves, but if you want to work in a field like social work or social welfare, or in a field like HR, you will have to communicate with people, try to know them, try to know their issues and problems, and only then you'll come up with certain solutions. So talk to people. For socializing, I would say that take up events or initiatives where there is involvement of people, where you will have to go and talk to people, and you'll have to interact with them. That is how you will be able to increase this socialization thing. Yeah.
That's great. That covers my next question. Like I was going to ask, does somebody have to be an extrovert to be a HR? So I guess like you have to talk to people in order to be a HR.
See, I feel that introverts can also be a good HR. That's, I mean, you cannot just frame an HR being, this way. Like you cannot fix it in the box. It is completely individual thing, because I've seen people who are introvert yet they are doing amazingly well into the field of HR. So, but yeah, HR is a profession where there are going to be instances where you will have to talk to people, you will have to interact, or else things are not going to work your way.
Um, the other thing being, if someone is, let's say, okay, if they are interested in HR, okay, a lot of people come from technical background and
Yeah.
they want to go migrate like after finishing the graduation in a technology related field, and they want to go into a management related role. Uh, what are the things that you would suggest, or is it a good thing to transfer to management field after doing a technical field, or would you suggest for them to be in the technical field?
So it is completely individual choice, first thing. Second thing is, I being an HR, I have more inclination towards social welfare things. So it is
Okay.
completely a person's choice what he wants to do in his career. Because now I have understood that, this is the field that makes me very happy. No matter if I earned a penny less, I'm okay with that. But this is what gives me happiness. So I have, somewhere I'm getting more inclined towards the social welfare part. So similarly, it depends on the individual. If they feel that they can do much better in this career field, then they can definitely go with it. They do a little bit of research that what are the prospective opportunities that they will be having in this field, what all they can do in this field, and accordingly they can plan and they can shift their career opportunity.
Okay. Uh, so since we are talking about also the social responsibility that you seem to be more focused than the HR part, uh, where did this interest in social responsibility occur? Like what made you work in social ventures? Like, so you said since you are a kid, you started working in social ventures. So where
Yeah.
did that come from?
Yeah, so in my schooling itself, I had started working like I used to see my parents helping people, and there were a lot of social initiatives that my parents used to undertake. At the same time, in schools also we used to participate in the NSS camps that we had. So there, we used to go to rural places and we used to interact with the people over there, try to understand their way of living and their problems, and similarly we used to help them give solutions. When I shifted to Pune, I got this very good opportunity to be part of this club in my college. It was the Rotaract Club of Rupantar. So this club was full of social welfare activities, and I was lucky enough to get into as the coordinator, and then I got a position over there in the second year, in the final year. So throughout the 2 years as well, I was more active towards these activities within the college. We used to participate in inter college activities as well. And post that, I joined one of the very well-known organization which I'm still associated with. So the journey has been going on and on. So it has been from my childhood that I was more interested in doing this, and I'm still continuing to do that.
And that's great. Uh, Obviously, when you work in a social venture, there will be a lot of fond memories that you will be having. So, are there any such memories for you while working in the social ventures?
Yeah, so currently I'm working with two organizations. I'm volunteer at the Robin Hood Army, and I'm volunteer at Miti Kerang. So both the journeys have been very special for me. RHA has been like, close to my heart, because that's the first organization I started officially working in this field. And as you might also be knowing that Robin Hood Army is a volunteer-based organization,
Yeah.
and it's a zero funds organization. So the speciality of that organization is, there is no lead, I mean, hold of anybody. Like, it's a volunteer based. You can do that work in your free time. So there are a lot of good memories that I have made along the way while working with the RHA. To share few, I would say that we have been interacting with the students, the kids who are at our clusters. So whenever you go there, either to distribute food or go there to conduct the pathshala sessions, the kids, they call you by your name. They remember your name, they call you by your name, and they are super excited to see us whenever we go there. So that's one fond memory that I have, that okay, I have an extended family over there. My weekends in Pune, whenever I'm in Pune and whenever we have these drives, my weekends are fixed, that we are going to go there and we are going to spend a good time with the kids over there. They also, because of the pandemic, we were not in touch. I mean, we didn't visit the clusters that often. So the cutest thing that has happened is these kids, they call me on the, on WhatsApp video call, and they talk to me that when are you coming? Wear mask and come, but come. So that's one, fond memory that I have taken along from RHA. At Mittikarang, I would say, all thanks to Amit, that I got in touch with Amit, and I started working for this organization. And even you would agree with me that he's a person, or he's a leader who gives you n number of opportunities to explore yourself. Like he'll let you work freely, and he'll let you take up initiatives on your own and lead. So one such good initiatives that we have taken, and it is going on, is about helping the daily wage workers whose work has been affected in this pandemic. So that is also one very fond memory that I have, that we started with this motto of helping only 1,000 families, and now we have helped more families, and it's still going on. So these are the two memories that I would share.
That's really amazing and sweet. And I'm sure I agree with what you said about Amit. He encourages people to do, if
Yeah.
have something good to do. Uh, and regarding the social ventures, you also started an NGO, as you said, Sri Gurudev Pratishthan. So,
Yeah.
what is the motive behind that, and what does it do?
Yeah, so I started this with my family. So this is an NGO that works for everybody. Like, I have not kept it restricted to any specific sector. Like, we some of them, they work into education sector, some work for poverty, some work for various other issues. So I have not kept this NGO specifically, to any main major issue, but I want people to come forth, whatever help is required. My NGO will definitely help them in whichever way possible. And through this NGO, like, we have been doing a lot of work here at the my hometown. Like, we are doing a lot of things, a lot of initiatives, I would say. So similarly, I don't talk much about it, because it is at the grassroots level, and I feel that there are a lot of things that I want to do through Gurudev Pratishthan, and that time, I'll be able to highlight it more, that okay, we are doing this. But yeah, for people who have joined this session today, yes, we are working, and if you need any sort of help, you can approach us. We'll be definitely trying to help you in whichever way possible.
Definitely. I'm sure it will do well, and all the best for that venture too.
Thank you. Thank you.
And since you have started this social venture, I want to ask you this question. Usually, people have this conception that social ventures are not profitable, and uh, we can't run them, or joining a social venture is not profitable. So, uh, what is your say for them? Like, how to convince them to say that this is not what you're thinking?
Uh, See, initially, even a lot of people who know me, they also suggested me the same thing, that social work is not something you can make your career into. It is not something that will give you the profit that other jobs will. But somewhere I feel that the passion of working for people should be within yourself. If you have that spark, and if you are okay, like, if you don't earn as much as your friends are earning currently, and still you're happy doing what you're doing, then I think this should not matter, like, whether it is a profitable or not, or whether it is going to be helpful for your career path or not. It should be from within, like, because I believe that whatever I am doing today, I am a happy person. Like I'm happy with the work that I'm doing. And I believe that there are a lot of opportunities that we have in this field as well. And there are a lot of opportunities that are going to come my way. And I'm going to enjoy and work as many years as I can in this field.
Okay, that's great, and I agree with you that it's ultimately what we enjoy personally that we do than the money factor. Like that should be a secondary or a
Yeah.
third thing.
Yeah.
Primary should be what we learn. Uh, Coming back to this HR field, I wanted to ask, since you might have a lot of experience in this field, so what is your, I'll put this into a two-part question. One is, what is the suggestion to recruiters? Like, what do you want recruiters to see while recruiting some candidate? And part two, what is a suggestion to interviewers, like who attend interviews? Uh, what is your suggestion to them? Like people usually say that I have finished all these interviews and then in HR round it didn't work out well. So the HR round doesn't matter which job you go, HR round is the common thing. So what is your suggestion for both the recruiters and the candidates attending an interview?
Okay, so I'll answer you it in two parts. So first, I'll answer regarding the recruiter. So as far as my experience is concerned, I have worked in the education sector. So HR in the education sector, it is completely different than what it is in the corporate sector. Like for the education sector, we have different rules and regulations. We follow the UGC norms and everything. So for recruiters, it would be a suggestion that, right now because of the pandemic, the entire process of recruitment has also changed. Everything has gone virtual. So finding out the right candidate virtually is going to be initially a quite, tricky thing because generally we used to have candidates come to the organization, then we used to have a face-to-face round of interaction where you could better understand the candidate from the body language, the way they speak, their mottos and everything. Virtually it's going to be quite kind of different. But then yeah, for recruiters it would be like a new experience, at the same time a good opportunity to try something new. And yeah, like for candidates I would say like uh, job is something that everybody is looking for. Everybody wants employment.
Yeah.
Just believe in yourself. Just be the best that you can be. If one organization doesn't select you, that doesn't mean that you are any less than anyone. It is just that you will get what you want or what you need at the right time and at the right place. So just believe in yourself, be confident, and apply at places where you feel that you can get through. Work harder on your communication skills, on your knowledge, like whatever profile you're applying for. Have in-depth knowledge about it and be confident. Yeah.
That's perfectly put. Um, Now, since you have talked about education sector, how was your experience working at MIT Pune, which is now MIT World Peace University? So, how
Yeah.
working there?
Yeah. So I studied at MIT Pune. I joined the MIT School of Business and I did my PGDM in human resource over there. And luckily, there was a position for the HR executive profile at MIT. So when I joined, we were in the transition phase. Like MIT Pune was, now is MIT World Peace University. So in the August 2019, the transformation had taken place. So a lot of things were changed. Like the HR had a major role to perform during this transition phase, right from policy designing to redrafting to recruiting new people and organizing training and development of this thing projects for the teaching and non-teaching staff. So for me, I worked closely with the with the head HR and the director HR. So the journey was very good, I would say, because I got to learn a lot of things. This was my first job, and so I joined there as a fresher, but I never felt that I was a fresher. because my immediate boss, she just made me feel comfortable. She taught me everything right from scratch, and I was being given opportunities to do the recruitment not only of the junior level but of the middle level as well. And I used to assist her in the senior level positions, like in the university. The vice chancellor, the pro vice chancellor, the registrar, they play a very vital role. They are the main positions that the university should have. So during their interviews and during their recruitment process also, I had a part to play. So I think that the journey has been very beautiful. I have learned a lot of things. And at MIT, I would like to mention this, that apart from the HR role, I did, for some time, I did counseling for the students as well. Like we have various departments at MIT, various faculties at MIT Walpis University. So I did counseling for the students. And that was also a wonderful experience that I had, wherein, I used to interact with the students as well as their parents. And it was good to see that I realized that I have this skill where I can talk to people and make them feel comfortable. And so that happened because whenever I used to get repeat calls from the parents, they used to specifically mention that they want to talk to me regarding whatever queries they had. So that was a kind of feel good factor, I would say, that I felt that, yeah, I'm doing good and it is working. So the overall experience was amazing, I would say.
It's really amazing. It must like you must have been in school. Like usually, I used to think, how do people who are working in these colleges feel like? Because since you also said that you have been there, like studied there, right? So
Yeah.
was it working there? Was it any different?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Studying there was completely a different thing, and working there was completely a different thing. I got to experience both the thing. That's the best part, I would say, because as a students, we don't pay more attention towards what's going behind. We just interact with the student section more because we have to pay the fees and we have to take the results and everything. But there is a lot of administrative work also that goes behind. MIT WPU is one of the well-known universities in Pune, and it has a lot of non-teaching staff. Non-teaching staff, as in people who are into the housekeeping section, who maintains the cleanliness of the entire campus, and it is known for the cleanliness part as well, the infrastructure and everything as well. So you get, when you're working on the other end, you are handling the people who are working behind this big university. So you get to interact with them as well. You manage their onboarding, you recruit them, you manage their onboarding, and you handle their problems and everything. So there is the both the things are different, I would say, and both experiences were equally different but equally amazing, I would say.
great, great. I have seen on your LinkedIn profile that people have recommended you or admired you for your recruiting skills. So, but I do know that HR isn't just about recruiting. It's more than just recruiting, because people usually think HR is the person who comes at the end of the interview and recruits the person. But if you had to put it and say, what is HR and what is the role of a HR in an organization?
HR is the heart of the organization, I would say. Like if you want things to work better, you want an HR to make it work better for you. Because we are someone, we understand the organization, what's its vision and mission. We understand the kind of people you need for your organization, and how and we also understand the people, like what do they expect from the organization, because it's not about only the organization, it is also about the people. If I have joined an organization, of course I'll keep in mind the benefit of the organization, but at the same time, even I have my personal goals and ambitions, even I want to fulfill them. So we as an HR, we are a bridge between the people who join the organization and the organization, or the management, you can say.
Great. Um, Talking about so okay, you have been working as a HR and you are also doing this social work. So how was it balancing those both? Because you have been associated with both of them for quite some time. So how is it? How do you balance both of them?
Yeah, so working into MIT, the work flexibility, I think flexible hours is what something I was lucky enough to have. And because the college is nearby my home, I used to get a lot of time after my office hours where I could spend that time productively, I would say. And that is when I joined Robin Hood Army in August 2019. So majority of the food drives that we do, these are after 5 p.m. or so. You know, the food calls that we get are usually during that time. So it was the Robins that work with me in this organization. We used to, come for the drives, and then later on we used to hang out as well. So somewhere I had this flexibility in doing both the works at their times, because it's a volunteer based organization, same as Mitti Ke Rang. Mitti Ke Rang also had given me a lot of flexibility to work. So it was quite easy for me to maintain the flexibility in work, in the social work as well as in the corporate field.
Um, and you also mentioned that you are interested in corporate social response, CSR.
Yeah.
So can you briefly say or explain what CSR is and what is the role of CSR in corporates?
Yeah, so CSR plays a vital role in every organization. There's a certain percentage of the profit that you have to give towards a social responsibility thing. So in organization, you would have seen many organizations that conduct various CSR activities under their organization, through which they help they usually do it into collaboration or do it independently. So a lot of people, they work in this field as well. So for me, CSR is something where organization helps the people by, it's give and take. So when you're earning a profit from the people, by, maybe if you're into manufacturing, if you're selling something, and then through that you earn the profit, at the same time you are giving back to the society. It is always about giving back. So that's a major role I feel that CSR plays in every organization.
Right. Talking about giving back, I wanted to ask how can an individual or people in general in their daily life contribute to social causes? Like, I agree that not all of them can be part of social ventures, but according to you, what are some things that they can do to contribute to social causes?
Yeah, so I feel that even little help also makes a major changes in the society. So if you're fond of animals, there are a lot of stray animals, stray dogs. There are abandoned dogs on the stray streets. So what you can do is you can adopt the animals. You can give them a home if you are fond of animals. That's one thing that people can do. If not, you can at least feed them. Like, there would be in your locality, if you see some stray dogs, you can go and feed them every day. That is one part. So there are little things that you can do in this field, in social work. You don't have to be a great social worker, or you don't have to do something that gives you name and everything. There are little things that makes you happy. You can do it any which way. Also now in this pandemic situation, what I have come across is people are suffering from COVID-19. They are suffering from corona, and there are a lot of patients who need plasma donations, who need plasma donors. So and those plasma donors are people who have recovered from corona, say in a time span of 28 days or 30 days. So they build up the antibodies once they are recovered from corona, and they can do the plasma donation for the COVID affected people. So there is a very increase in demand for this plasma donations, but there are very few people who are, actually coming forward for it. So in this current situation, I would say that, plasma donation is something that people should focus on also, and they should come forward and help in this thing. And overall, I would say that any activity, anything, any small help you feel like you can do, and that will make you happy, that will make the other person happy, just go for it and just do it. You don't have to be associated with any organization. You can start work from yourself as well.
Now, okay, since we are in this new normal, like there are a lot of things that are going to be changed. So, what do you think are some of the main things to focus on when we go into future, like post COVID-19?
The very first thing is focus on yourself, your health. Stay away from things that will lead you into danger, because now, seeing the scenario that is going on currently, people are taking it very lightly. People are like, it's okay, like they're seeing others recover from this corona thing. So, people are taking it quite lightly, but I would say that why give it a chance, and why risk your life into something so dangerous? uh, Take care of yourself. Further going, organizations are also taking their playing a major role, like they are keeping social distancing in the uh, cubicles. They are designing the infrastructure that way. If they are, their attendance rate has also decreased now. So things that you yourself can do is, you can take care of yourself, maintain the social distancing, follow the safety norms that are being laid down by the government, and stay safe and work, because work is something that is always going to go on and on. You cannot stop your work because of anything, but be safe at the same time.
Uh, so before we end up, I have a few questions. Uh,
Okay.
what are some resources that you can suggest to people for communication and like some books or articles or any activities for people for to improve their communication basically?
Okay, so what I do is I read a lot of novels. I like reading. Initially, I never liked reading, but then, once I started reading, it became a habit. So read more, you'll get to know more about, the words, the vocabulary. Vocabulary would, improve when you start reading. There are many online courses also, like on Coursera or on UN Academy or anything. Like you can check out on the social platforms where there would be courses, short-term courses for communication. If you think that, you need a course, then you can definitely go for it. For communication, at the same time, you can you can interact more with people, because when you talk, you get to know more, and you kind of build in that confidence in yourself that, yeah, I can also speak, or I can improve myself. So yeah, these are the few suggestions I would say.
And about social works, you have been associated with Robin Hood Army and Mitti Ke Rang. So um, if you want to like suggest how can people contribute or join such social ventures? Like how did you search? So based on your experience, can you suggest people? Uh,
Yeah, so now both the organizations that I'm working with are very well known. So you can officially visit their website. So you can visit Robin Hood Army's website. At the same time, you can visit the Mitti Ke Rang website. And for RHA, it's a volunteer-based organization. So there is no age limit. There is no fixed timings of work. It is completely your choice, like, how many hours you want to give, what exactly you want to do, whether you want to, teach the kids from the cluster, or you want to be part of the food drives that we run. So the choice is yours. We have on the official website, they can register. Now RHA is in 182 cities. So I am part of the RHA Pune group, And in Pune, we have around 20 chapters. Chapters are basically divided as per the locations in Pune. So I'm a part of the Kothur chapter. So once you register, whichever location you are in Pune or in any other city, the consent chapter representative will get in touch with you. We have volunteer coordinators who gets in touch with the registered people, and then you be part of the WhatsApp group that we have. And then you can come down for the drives. You can join the army that way. For Mitti Ke Rang also, we have our official website where you can go and check out our work. Also, on the website, we have Amit's contacts and the other details that we have given. So you can directly approach any one of us, and you can approach me, you can approach Lohit, and if you want to join as an intern or as a volunteer, you're always welcome. And yeah, so this is the way.
Yeah. In case anybody wants to join Mitti Karan, you're always welcome. So, since you are HR, I'm sure a lot of people would want to contact you for various reasons in the future. So, how can they reach out to you?
Okay, so I'm active on the social media platforms, like I'm active on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So they can get connected with me on all the three platforms. And if they, yeah, so whatever, I mean, after the session, you can just put down the links in the description so that people can easily access them.
Sure. The links will be provided below. I think I've asked most of my questions I had regarding HR and social work. Um, Thank you so much, Rutuja. It was really wonderful to have you on this session, and I hope you have a great career and everything goes well for you.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for this opportunity. I have been seeing your work since you have joined Mitti Ke Rang as an intern, and I must say that you are doing a superb job, and you're doing it really well. And for this podcast, also, thank you for your time. You have been so kind throughout the process of this interview, and I wish you all the best too.
Thank you so much.